not going to subject you to our singing or anything like that with our lack of talent here, but we wanted to go over some of the discussions that we had. Our main, I'm going to talk about some of it. We've got Andy will talk some, Bill, and John will finish up. The one concept we had for an ideal future is that, as we talked about a lot yesterday and today, that we'll see more transit-oriented development. The community will develop so that it makes it more accessible to transit. Transit can serve the area better. One of the things we hope to accomplish is that all the communities in our region will adopt what Wasatch Front Regional Council has called growth principles as to how we develop and so forth. Include those in their master plan so that as they develop, they look at how we can develop, how we can better develop to serve transit and so forth. So, we had a couple other ideas that we wanted to let you know about. Andy's going to talk a little bit about technology. Some of the others have already talked about that, but I'll let Andy talk a little bit more about that.
Thank you. As technology has changed so much over the years and everything, some of the old ideas have now become more possible. And so that's one of the neat effects and everything. And not all the nice thing about technology is you kind of have like a 5-year forecast and you can kind of see where it's going. And so with the technology, obviously we see a very integrated route and everything where anybody can use it at any time. And basically, you could have like your own cell phone or a GPA or any kind of system where you can basically log in and it knows who you are and knows what your need is, and so you type in or you log in or you have somebody help assist you on that, and the system knows exactly what your needs are, what your if you need accessibility, if you need attendance services or anything like that to get from point A to point B, and the route will be set up for you so that you're going to get there. In the ideal world, it would be getting there in faster time than it would take you through using your own means of transportation, because of all the congestion, and it'll be better for the environment and things like that. GPS, and then it can also, it triangulates your position with your cell phones and things like that now. So there's all kinds of integration that we can do, and a lot of the technology's out there. So the idea that we kind of talked about is really capturing a lot of that. Obviously the funding needs to be there, but capturing that technology and integrating it together, combining it, and coming up with a single-use kind of system is very accessible and very easy to use.
We had another idea about assistance for those that need it in traveling, and Bill will give us a little information about that.
We don't have any music to come either, folks. We've been told that we should keep our singing to the shower, so that's where we'll do that. We discussed a great deal in our group providing services for those with cognitive disabilities. And we began discussing a attendance system, and that moved to a better title of a concierge system, where a concierge may be placed on a bus, a train, or tracks, and would ride with individuals, say 20, 30, maybe 40 individuals in transportation, and would provide for them the assistance they need to get on and off the transportation and to get where they needed to go. We proposed providing some sensitivity training for those individuals so they would know how to work with those with cognitive disabilities, also know how to give directions to the blind, and work with those who are deaf or hearing impaired.
And I think we also talked that maybe technology could help provide some of those services, that if somebody had a cell phone or PDA or something that could tell them this is the place to get off, that would be another idea we have. Final thing we want to have is John English. We talked about some of the things that UTA does well and that could help in our transportation system, and trying to coordinate all the transportation transportation services provided by other agencies, and John will talk about those.
As Group A, we're also Type A people, so we've got right to the solutions, and we're ready to solve this problem right now. Move on to the next one. I don't know why the hat. Just thought it may be appropriate. Just make it
Put it close.
not going to be taken too seriously. It occurs to me that we got silos. We have the resources, I think, in the region to deal with most of the issues that we're talking about. But they're not all in UTA. They're in these silos. And one way to get the silos out is by pooling our resources. Again, this meeting here stimulated me in thought, thinking about what are UTA strengths. How can UTA strengths be applied to a pooling concept to help everybody? Number one, we have one of the best dispatching systems in the country. It's probably the most sophisticated technologically that there is. It's state of the art, and we keep adding to it every time something new comes out. So we're very good at dispatching. Most of the organizations that are running transportation services do not have this kind of dispatching capability or pooling capability, but then again, they're dispatching 1 or 2 or 3 vans, so they sort of do it in single vans. If we got all this together in the room, we could dispatch that service and actually provide services to those areas we may not necessarily be serving, but we could be a key in pooling that service. Number 2, we're really good at maintenance. How many of you have been on a bus that's broken down like that, or even a train? Now, don't answer that. Sure, there was at some point there, I remember a few weeks ago, we had a little problem. But as a general rule, our buses are running 10,000 miles between any kind of problem. That's extraordinary, because probably the national average is half that. So we're very good at maintenance, and we want to help those organizations if they have vehicles. We can be a great support to them in setting up preventive maintenance programs, making sure that their vehicles are maintained properly, and more importantly, making sure they buy the right vehicle for the kind of service we're talking about doing. And then finally, probably one of the biggest bugaboos of people who are trying to run transportation is ultimately gets down to liability. That's a very big issue. That's an insurance issue. It's a risk management issue. UTA has to do that. We've got a fleet of over 60 light rail vehicles. We've got 700 buses. We have our own insurance department. We have our own risk management department. We have our own claims and subrogation department. That's another asset that we can bring to the table in a pooling kind of concept that we can provide fleet insurance, I think, if we were to set up the right kinds of memorandums of understanding and the right kinds of agreements. So training is very critical in risk management. We've got a superb training team. In fact, we're doing a lot of training in association with ERSTA. A lot of the organizations around the state operate transportation. So we got right after it. We're offering a solution. I think one other thing we need to keep in mind, part of the mission out here, is that in the next 5 to 7 years, this region will be covered with a rail transit system that will be comparable to nothing else in the United States. We will have more light rail and rail systems per capita than almost any other city in the U.S., including some of the big eastern systems. That's going to make it so much easier to provide transportation to everyone in the community, because we'll be a short hop away from a very high volume, very low cost operating mode. So looking forward to that. Okay, we're done. No,
Are we? Yes, we're done.
We're done.